Hello, 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 eBay sellers. Come on in. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. And I have such a great topic for you today, one that I get questions on all the time. I get this from smaller sellers, I get it from larger sellers, I get it from sellers with stores, I get from sellers without stores, my newer sellers and my more experienced sellers. And this is the question, and this is why I wanted to live stream on this for you, is, Kathy, how important are views, right? How important are views on eBay for getting sales? And my answer is they are. But I'm going to do it with a caveat because it's not just any view. It's going to be the right view. And I'm going to talk about that because you hear a lot of information on social media about this. And a lot of it is really, really wrong. And a lot of it is really, really misleading. So you'll hear people talk about, they've got something up. Hi, Vicki, how are you? They'll have a listing up and they go, Kathy, I have 80 views, but I haven't gotten a sale, or the reverse. Kathy, I only have a couple of views, and why aren't I getting more views? So here's a couple of things. One, when you create a listing and put it up on eBay, realize that it takes a little bit of time for the search engines to index you. They used to say that it took Google 30 days. I find it is faster than that now, but it still takes a little bit of time. Unless you are selling something that is so high in demand, that's such a big brand name, such a huge keyword, and you're offering it at such a killer deal, that it might sell right away. And some categories sell very, very fast. Sporting cards is one. Electronic cell phones, if you're selling certain brands in a certain condition, that'll sell very fast. Hi, Paula, good to see you. But otherwise, for most categories, for most items, it takes a little bit of time. It can take a couple of weeks, it can take a couple of months, but it does take a little bit of time to get indexed. So what about views? How important are views? They are. Because if my product isn't getting seen, if my listing isn't getting seen on eBay, it can't get sold, right? It's like, if nobody's looking at it, it's not going to get sold, right? So I want people to look at it. But how do you get the right views? And this is where sometimes view counts can be misleading. So somebody will reach out to me and they'll say, oh, I have a couple hundred views on this, but no one's bought it. Well, then you got to go and look at the item, which is, and I actually saw this because if you don't know, I shop on eBay almost every day. And I remember searching, and I think it was something like a woman's top, or I think it was a woman's purse. I was searching for purses. And looking at this purse that came up in my search when I was typing in purses, different brand names. And I looked at this seller's listing that came up in my search. And the reason I looked at it was because it was nothing like what I was looking for. I think I was looking for like animal print. I was looking for bling, something like that, which was pretty specific. And this person's purse came up and it wasn't animal print, it wasn't sequins, it was sort of a generic hobo. But when I looked at it, what they had done was they had added all kinds of keywords to the listing in the item specifics. They had clicked all kinds of things that were not pertinent to their listing. And I warn you on this. So if your item is not let's say made in a certain country, if it's not a certain style, if it's not boho, if it's not, I'm trying to think, ballet core is a big one now, which is, all the tutus and that kind of look, is don't put it in. If something is not casual, if it's a very formal, I'm thinking like with clothing, if it's very formal attire, if it's really appropriate for like going to a wedding or going to a black tie event, I don't want to say that it's casual. I'm picking things that are pretty extreme, but you'd be surprised what things show up. Because if you use an item specific that is not right for your item, if you put a term in your title, because eBay searches titles, if you're not aware of this, for keywords, that's not right for your item, you're going to show up in searches that are not your people, right? So if you are looking for an animal print top, eBay wants to show you animal print tops. Why? Because it keeps you happy, it keeps you coming back, it keeps you searching, and it gets a sale. eBay wants your item to sell, and that's why you're giving it a great title. You're giving it pictures that clearly show what the item is, and you're picking the item specifics that are relevant to your item. So if something is long sleeved, I don't say it's short sleeved. If something is very, very modern and it has a barcode, I don't say that it's antique. I mean, I'm picking extremes, but you do not want to click, because I've seen people and they do this, and I'm sure somebody's coaching people to do this, is that you put in all kinds of keywords that have nothing to do with your item. It's called keyword spamming. You know, that I would say something, I'm going to pick an extreme like Coach Purse, when it's not a Coach Purse. It is, I'm going to pick Betsy Johnson because I love Betsy Johnson. It's Betsy Johnson. It's not Coach. So when you look at your item, you want to use relevant keywords. Now, what can happen sometimes is you just don't know. Like, you'll look at the dress and I'm going, I don't know if this is a shift. I don't know if this is fit and flare. I don't know if this is a slip. I don't know what this is. And that's when something like Pinterest can be really helpful. And you can hop over to Pinterest and you just type in dress style or sleeve style. If it's something that looks Edwardian, you can go on Pinterest and type in Edwardian blouse or Victorian blouse or whatever it is. And you'll see people will put up pictures and boards of that style, and then you know whether it is or not. So that's why with views, and we've all had this happen. If you've been selling for a while, you're going to know what I'm talking about. You can no keyword spamming. Absolutely, Paula. No, because you'll get views. And let me tell you something. Your item, it gets a ton of views, but they're not buying it. And guess what happens? Your item will drop in search because then eBay sees your item is not desirable. You want the right views. You want the right clicks. That's why, and I have had this happen, Paul, I'm sure you've had this happen, you too, Vicki, is I've had things that sell with 3 views. I've had things sell with 5 views. And then I've had things that sell with 80, 90 views. And what it is if you've created a wonderful listing, which of course Paul and Vicki and I have, is it's something that's a more like it's a navy blue women's top, let's say like an Anthropologie brand. Okay. So that's going to show up in a lot of different searches. It's going to show up for casual top. It's going to show up with Anthropologie brand top. It may show up for blue women's top with the different sizes. So you may get a bunch of views without a sale because it's not exactly what that person's looking for. Okay. So that's why I encourage you, do not keyword spam. Do not put in an item specific that has nothing to do with your item. Better to leave it blank. If you're unsure, like I'm really not sure of the period, whether this is Victorian or Edwardian, I'm really not sure of the design, what I would call this design, use something like Pinterest. It's really, really helpful. And search the term that eBay's offering you in the drop down, going, you know what, I'm really not sure what this is. Search it, look at it, see what the internet's saying about that. And then you get the right views. Because I was thinking about this here in New York City. I'm going to date this. This is March of 2023. Macys just opened a flower show. It's gorgeous at Herald Square. If you're ever in New York City around Easter Passover time, usually about a month before Easter, they have a gorgeous flower show at Macys Herald Square. Why? Why does Macys do this for Herald Square? Besides that, it's just fun. It gets people into the store. And they've done their market research, which is the people that are attracted to come into Macys for the flower show for spring are the people that would be Macys shoppers. So that's the whole thing about keywords, is using the right keywords for your product, a good title, a good picture. Why? Because it gives you the right views. That's why Macys is doing something like the flower show. It attracts the right shoppers. And then, of course, and they do it on the main floor, which is all kinds of wonderful designer handbags and all kinds of wonderful makeup, is now you're in the store for this gorgeous flower show. And, oh, let's go look at this handbag. Let's go look at that handbag and this costume jewelry and that makeup. And they do very, very well. So it's not just the number of views. It is the right views. and doing a really great listing lands your item in front of the right shopper. So don't be alarmed when you've done a really good listing. You know, you've done your homework. If it's up for a couple weeks and you may not have a gazillion views on it, again, it's not the number, it's the right views, that you've used the best keywords for your item, the best pictures, and then it's going to land in front of the best customer. Now, what can happen on eBay, because you do have promoted search, okay, and you do have a lot of competition, and you do have a lot of listings, is that there's a lot of factors with eBay search. And writing your great optimized listing is your best way to surface on eBay in eBay search. Another thing to keep you profitable as a seller, because selling has changed. It's not what it was 20 years or 25 years ago online, when eBay was, you know, the new. And if just for you know, if you didn't know, eBay back in the dark ages was auction web when it first started. Everything was auctions, everything. So you know how much has changed, because now the majority of listings are fixed price, is because keeping us profitable as sellers, to keep Paula profitable, to keep Vicki profitable. What it's about is landing our items in front of the right customers. An optimized listing on eBay will do that. The other thing that can help you to keep your sales strong, to keep profits coming your way, despite the fact that the internet is extremely competitive, and it gets competitive more and more every day because more and more people are selling online. You now have more and more stores selling online, and all sizes of stores selling online. So there's a lot more product online, and there's a lot more competition in all categories, is to sell on more than one platform. You all know that I love eBay. eBay is my love, but I also love helping sellers to get sales for their listings and to sell things as quickly as possible for the best money possible. So to list things on other platforms besides eBay can be very, very smart, because what it is it's putting that listing, again, remember we're talking about views and getting the right views. It's taking that blue pen, it's taking that navy shirt and getting it in front of more customers. And a great way to do that is to sell on Poshmark. Poshmark started years ago, very casual selling app, very much clothing, very much female, and it has grown. It is men's clothing, it is women's clothing, it is kids' clothing, it's some electronic items, it's a lot of home decor items. It has really exploded. The other great thing about Poshmark is their search is their search. There is no promoted search. There is no promoted listings. It is just Poshmark search, and there's no listing fees. So to get started on Poshmark, you do want to do optimized listings just like on eBay, but you're exposing your products to a lot of people. Did you know that Poshmark in the United States has over 80 million users? And a lot of those folks do not shop on eBay. People are loyal to their app, to their platform. eBay shoppers love eBay. Poshmark shoppers love Poshmark. So to take your items from eBay that are suitable for Poshmark and to list them there will typically increase your sales. Why? Because you're putting your products in front of different people. It's more views for your items, and 80 million shoppers is a lot. So what I've done is I've written a guide specifically for eBay sellers selling on Poshmark. It's called Poshmark Selling for eBay Sellers. It's on my website, ilovetobeselling.com, and right now it's half off, only for a few days though, so you do want to hop over and grab it. The reason I wrote the guide is because Poshmark has lingo, and Poshmark has ways to optimize their listings that is different from eBay. So if I come to Poshmark doing exactly what I do on eBay, I'm not going to get the best results possible. So that's why I wrote this guide. And then 10% of the proceeds are going to Lorianne Wong's food pantry. So you're going to help yourself and help your sales. And at the same time, you're going to be helping some people in need in the Atlanta area. But think about it. Again, it's not how many views, it's the right views. That item, and this has happened to so many sellers that I know, you have an item that is lingering on eBay. You're like, oh my goodness, I've had this thing up for like years. I've had this thing up for months. It's not selling. What's going on? It's optimized. I'm doing everything I know how to do. Guess what? You list it on Poshmark, bam, it sells. I've had it happen to so many of my eBay seller friends. So I encourage you, grab this guide while it's half off. Explains Poshmark. step by step, how to do the listings, how to optimize, what you need to do, what you don't need to do, so that you can get your listings up on Poshmark fast, 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 and get the right views, because that's what we're after. Get the right views on your items. So grab Poshmark Selling for eBay sellers while it's half off. Increase your sales. And again, no listing fee, no promoted listing fees on Poshmark. Okay, great. Grab the guide, enjoy more views from the right shoppers and more sales selling on Poshmark besides eBay. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye, everybody.